welcome to the Real Whovians Cast, episode 639. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Connor Farley. What's up, Connor?
Shit.
What's up, David?
Shit.
Mike D.
I'm going to give a shout out for James. Alonzi.
That's right, James. What's up, bro? All right, so I watched Fires Pompeii again, this time on the bus, and I keep noticing more and more stuff. Okay, I actually believe that that is Peter Capaldi's doctor acting like the father of that person or whatever, because there's certain things I saw.
Pecilius or something?
Yeah, but there's certain things. Maybe he just doesn't remember what. There's certain things I see that the doctor, like stuff that he does as the doctor in that I didn't notice before. You know, like the way he talks to them and stuff. You know, when he interacts with David Tennant, like constantly, the fact that he bought the TARDIS and had it delivered to his house. You know, it just, to me, for some reason, like here's the thing: they said that something was causing them to. It wasn't just the fact of the mist or whatever. Somebody was giving them the ability to see into the future a little bit. Okay, I believe that what we see in the trailer is Pompeii with Davros in Pompeii. Okay?
So you think that Capaldi went back to Pompeii to stop Davros and then interacted with the 10th Doctor there?
No. Well, I see. Here's the thing, okay? The explosion was so huge with Pompeii, it could have ripped a hole in a pocket universe and let Gallifrey out, okay? Possibly. I think that, see, I don't think David Tennant would come back and do anything with Peter Capaldi. I'm not sure, but I do feel that that wasn't, like, that was the Doctor, the 12th Doctor, being in that situation, and those people, like, I guess, believed that that's the husband and the father and all that, but I think, honestly, think it was the Doctor. I do. I feel that when he goes through with that thing in the 50th, he's going to land in Pompeii, and he's going to be like, what the hell is this? Why am I in Pompeii? I think that's what's going to happen. You know, you think that he's going into this, oh my God, another universe, what's it going to look like? And it's not. It's freaking Pompeii. You're like, what the hell is this? You know, I don't know, man. I'm thinking.
Well, I was going to say, in the trailer, we see that one scene where the hands are coming out of the ground, and it looks like an ashen sort of ground that is very similar to, like, where volcanic flow has come, where, like, the ground is ashen and gray. Like, you know, I don't know if that's, like, people, like, or a person. I forget if it's more than one person you're seeing whose hands are coming out of the ground, but it looks like maybe could be a character in Pompeii that's
like Paravelia.
That's being resuscitated or is whatever trapped under there and coming out of the ground.
Could they do something like Pompeii is found, like, you know, and it comes back alive again, like something like that?
See, I looked at it more the other way around, like Pompeii is a result of what occurs that sets off Pompeii, not that Pompeii set something off.
See, the thing is that we saw Trenzalore, and then we went backwards and saw him living on Trenzalore. So could they do something like that? See, when I watched Pompeii, I'm like, okay, this is fucking what Moffat did. Okay, he saw Russell T Davies, the Doctor press the button with Donna, make the choice: do I kill these people to save the Earth, whatever? And then like that's what he did to the 50th. He took that shit. And he's like, all right, I'm going to make that the 50th too, because I like that idea. You know, they actually had the fucking button, and they pressed it, you know? And it was like, again, we're getting a repeat thing. But I don't know, man. I'm thinking, what if they just brought Pompeii back, and all those people that you thought died were like stone? Like, what if they became like weeping angels or some shit like that? Besides the Paravalia things with the stone, what if that's how the weeping angels started? I mean, who's to say that it didn't start there? I mean, yeah, they said weeping angels of old. Maybe it was with Gallifrey, or something. But like, we don't know shit about the weeping angels. We wouldn't be expecting to have anything with the weeping angels this year. And something with time, man. I mean, there's got to be. I'm trying to think, what the hell could they do with Pompeii? What could they do with, why is he there?
So what's going to be the event that that they say the Doctor is going to be making a mistake that has cataclysmic repercussions?
Oh, he saves Davros. That's the mistake.
I think the significance of Pompeii is that that's the event that begins the further, like, we know that time is in some way fractured, ruined, messed up. I think that Pompeii is the source of that problem, and that's what started it when he saved Caecilius. And then you went on to Day of the Doctor and stuff, and it further, because now we know in the finale of this series, it's not just 2 Doctors that appears, it's several. So it's another Impossible Girl situation. I think that I'm still inclined to believe that in the trailer that's on Khan, and that the Sisterhood are there to help the Doctor bring back Gallifrey, guide him to the lock, to unlock the time lock to bring Gallifrey back. I remember.
That begs the question: do you think that's even the right thing to do? Because look at how far 11 was. 11 knew what would happen if the Time Lords came back in any capacity. I think even if without the fleets of enemy ships that were orbiting Trenzalore at the time, if given the choice, I don't even think he would bring Gallifrey back.
See, here's another thing. Moffat had done an interview, and he said a lot of his friends gave him heat for undoing the Time War like that, like saving Gallifrey and all that. And he actually gave a hint that he may change his mind and reverse that, where they do die. Like, I don't know how he would do it where, they go about their business, the War Doctor regenerates into the 9th, the 10th goes here, the 11th goes here, but he said, like, he has it in the back of his mind. This is not his exact words, but it's in the back of his mind that he should go back and fix it and leave it alone and just change everything like that. Because it kind of, by doing that event, it kind of ruined the other Doctors because, you believe that on my mind, the 8th did it, okay? And then the 9th was, like, suffering from, what's that thing where, like, in other words, he went through the war, he's, like, winded, went back to Earth doing his regular routine, and Rose had to, like, shape him back to being this good old self type of thing, So, I'm thinking that, I mean, what do you think? Do you think it would be better just to restore it back the way it was, where they actually just died like that? Like he didn't save them, because that just causes a lot of problems with the Gallifrey thing. I mean, I don't know.
No, I think it's fine. It gives something. It gives something for like a future storyline. I mean, we had the Time Lords during the classic series, so I mean, big deal. Just bring them back, and it opens new avenues.
Right.
I mean, we had the Time Lords and the Doctor and Genesis of the Daleks on the special assignments.
See, what's happening is it's probably a branch is created. and that branch keeps growing. And all that branches are fractures or different timelines created or different Capaldis.
Well, they're not going to get. I can tell you one thing. Like I know that sometimes on our cast we err on going into like really outrageous theories and stuff, but they're not going to go too far off script with being crazy with doing little things. I mean, they're going to keep it within the realm of. Yeah, they understand and keep in mind that most of the fan base that's there watching this are people who are new fans. They're not like people that have been with the show for like 30 years that know every nuance of every aspect and facet of the series, where they would get like little nods, tips of the hat to things. So they're not going to be like that intrinsic with getting like the slightest minutia in there from like the old series or these little threads that go into these other storylines that are just like very specific. They're going to get like where it's obvious. If they're going to harken back to something or give a nod to something, it's going to be something that's very well known and obvious to even the new fans.
I just watched a bit of Night of the Doctor, and I noticed it once again. Ohila, the High Priestess of the Sisterhood of Khan, called McGann's Doctor a good man. We've had it in Frobisher, in Torchwood, where there's Capaldi's character. We had the 12th Doctor questioning whether he was a good man, and now we're having it with the Sisterhood of Khan. I think there's a link with the good man series arc or something.
Well, in that one episode with Matt Smith was A Good Man Goes to War.
It's those words, I think, that that there is a link there in with the plot of finding Gallifrey, stuff like that. I'm just gonna mute myself now and watch the rest of it. But I think Night of the Doctor is going to give us a few hints towards what might be to come. Because I'm absolutely convinced now that the Sisterhood of Khan have some form of connection to the final outcome of the search for Gallifrey.
When you think of picking up on what Connor was saying, you just watched that particular episode, Joe. That group of women there, the soothsayers or whatever. I mean, are they not the Sisterhood of Karn?
Yes,
they look like
I
them.
absolutely believe that that's a precursor to the Sisterhood of Karn.
Okay.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that. So
it just seems to me that there's too many coincidences in even Capaldi's appearances, all 3 appearances, and then the ones that concern the Time War or Gallifrey in some sense.
Yeah, that's way beyond coincidence.
Yeah, that's I think that's deliberate.
I think Connor, I think we're wrong in the fact that I think that time fractures not because of Pompeii, because I don't think he's going to go that far back. I think it's going to do with Davros, and it's going to be connected with Clara, where you're going to have a straight line, which is time, right? The timeline. And the moment he saves him, it creates a branch, okay, with a whole new thing, new Capaldis, right? Then it could be a thing where they try to restore the timeline back to the way it was, but it's not exactly, and it creates a branch this way, and then you got 3 different timelines at the same time.
I mean, in the first 3 series of the new Doctor Who, with Eccleston and the first 2 of David,
right.
there was never really an episode that involved an event where the Doctor had to change time in a way, like they did with Pompeii. Pompeii was kind of the first of.
Well, no, Father's Day he had to change it back, and he wound up dying. And Rose.
Yeah. The scale of the event, I think that Pompeii is far more significant than changing Pete Tyler's fate, even though
Pete Tyler's fate was echoing and spreading, causing a ripple effect that was wrecking everything.
And also they did actually fix that that hole in time in that very episode as well, because they obviously, Pete sacrificed himself again.
Well, that brings up a good question, referencing that episode too. How come we never see the what were they called, the Ravagers? How come we never see them anymore?
Because he did stuff with the TARDIS where that wouldn't happen anymore. Like he said that his people, when they're alive, would prevent this from happening. So when the TARDIS was restored or rebuilt, it did something where that wouldn't happen anymore with the Ravagers.
Oh, that's convenient. What's David? What do you think about all this, David?
I really have no comment because you kind of lost me halfway through.
Well, you've seen Fires of Pompeii, right?
I have, and it is one of my favorites. And actually, when I heard Capaldi was playing the Doctor, I went back to watch that episode. Joe's theory about that being the Doctor, I don't know if I'd agree with it.
I don't know, man. I'm like leaning more towards it than anything else.
I don't know.
I think it's more that the character had a significance than it is the Doctor himself.
Well, I think that was a reason why, Tom Baker was like, you'll be revisiting old faces, not just faces like faces from pretty much all of his years as the Doctor, not just like the obvious ones, but some obscure ones. Have they ever given any clarification as to why they chose Peter Capaldi's face?
Well, we brought that up. We brought up that very thing that David just mentioned last night when we were talking about that. The curator mentioned that line, and we were trying to make it relevant to putting this all together for the big picture. Go ahead.
I honestly believe that the Time Lords chose the face because that's a hint where they are. He never is able to choose his form really. I mean, I think that the Ninth Doctor did control it where he was younger for Rose, but as far as that goes, I don't really think he was able to control the regeneration. And I think that's why Matt Smith's Doctor was so petrified, because he didn't know what the hell he was going to become. And he knew that it was ending. Like he wasn't going to be, young.
I love that. That just reminds me when Clara got the phone call, and when he hears that he's old, he looks so devastated.
I know.
Poor guy. He's like, oh, crap.
Damn. Yeah.
Well, at least he's not a little wussy ponce like Matt Smith is anymore. I mean, Capaldi's got some gravitas,
He's, yeah.
Where's Connor?
Connor keeps dropping out.
Shit.
I gotta say, though, if he didn't do that Nightmare in Silver episode, he would have never got the Terminator role. Because that's how he got it.
Am I the only one who actually likes Nightmare in Silver? Every time I talk about it,
oh, God.
I actually found Nightmare in Silver enjoyable. Is it the best Cyberman episode? Oh, hell no, it isn't.
Oh, God.
For me, the only Cyberman episodes that I genuinely like are, again, my first ones. Usually your first ones are the favorite. It's Nightmare in Silver and The Age of Steel.
I like the Cybermen when they're center stage. Not that they're like somebody's lackey, like Missy's lackey or something. I hate that. That drives me nuts when I see something like that. You go from them in Nightmare in Silver where they like destroyed like galaxies and stuff to like listening to Missy. I was like, please shoot me now. It's like, it's terrible.
Though I rewatched Doomsday again, like the series 2-parter finale. Am I the only one who actually wants to see a war between the Cybermen and the Daleks?
No, I would love to see that, but the Daleks would win in 2 minutes, so no contest.
Not if you use these new and improved Cybermen, I think.
No, honestly, these Cybermen suck. Any Cybermen suck compared to the Daleks. The Daleks wipe them out. It's like one Dalek. Seriously. It's ridiculous.
All they'd have to do is get one of those Raston robots, and they'd wipe out, like in 5 Doctors, they wiped out a whole squadron of the
that was like my favorite thing. I love that. That was like the greatest thing. I saw
got the harpoon coming out of its
holy shit, that was so freaking cool back then. And she John Pertwee's face, like, it was great.
Okay, the one thing I would want to see and I know it's probably never going to happen. Am I the only one who wants to see Captain Jack interact with Capaldi's doctor on
Yes, I
some
want to see
level?
that. Yeah.
I don't think it could happen. Granted, because his role as Malcolm Merlin in Arrow is really taking a back seat. So I guess he could do a cameo or something for an episode or two with Capaldi. I would want to see that.
I gotta say, Connor, I need your help on this one. Did you see the synopsis for River Song's audio?
No.
She's remarried.
I know she got a new husband, yeah.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, I don't
And
believe it.
absurd. Because,
Nope.
like, that makes no sense. At all. Period.
Yeah.
I
Just-
am 1,000,000% against that.
That
Shit.
ruins the
That ruins the whole thing.
romance between her and the doctor.
That just sucks.
Everything they've been through.
That sucks.
She got tired of that Time Lord dick.
No, but
Just-
her husband's a time traveler anyway, though.
Oh, well, there you go. Maybe she likes Time Lord dick.
I don't know.
Just going back to Night of the Doctor, which I just watched the rest of before coming back in here.
Decision guilty, so. Okay, shit.
Ohila said to the Doctor, the universe is on the brink, will you let it fall? I think, like, with them being in the first 2 episodes of Series 9, if they find out at that point that Gallifrey was saved, they'll probably have known earlier, but if they found out that Gallifrey was safe and there was a chance, there was a possibility of them bringing it back into
Oh my god, you gave me an idea.
like
Holy shit.
I just think that like the,
Holy shit. You just, oh my god,
Shit.
wait.
well, just let me
Wait.
finish. Jesus Christ. Before you start fucking I'm just gonna say that I think the Sisterhood of Khan would jump at the opportunity to help the Doctor in assisting his way towards finding Gallifrey, which then coincides with our theory.
Holy crap. No. They're the ones that sent the TARDIS to Skaro.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're the ones that screw up time with Davros. Because they don't want the Time Lords to return.
Khan?
Yes.
They're Gallifreyans.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They were never friends. They were like, I mean, it was like the cousin that you fight with all the time. Yeah, you don't want them dead, but you don't want them around either.
So it's like when the Ronnie was talking to the doctor, like Sylvester McCoy's doctor. Like, I don't like you, but I don't.
Tolerate you?
Yeah, I'll
Well,
tolerate.
it's like this. They find out he saved. They find out that he saved Gallifrey, and they're like, "Crap! We created this whole doctor with this potion. We screwed it up. We don't want these people returning. They're a bunch of assholes." The Time Lords. So what they do is they're like, "Fuck it, let's just make it even worse." So they knock the TARDIS off course. The TARDIS lands in Skaro. He creates this alternate timeline with Davros. Yeah, I think so.
No,
Unless,
the Sisterhood of Khan wouldn't do that.
Maybe they thought that him being saved would not create the Daleks.
I suggest you go back and watch Night of the Doctor, because in that they seem to want to convince the Doctor to save Gallifrey, to be the good man.
No. It's not save Gallifrey. It's stop the friggin' war.
Well, exactly. Well, it's the same thing, really, because obviously you're saving Gallifrey in the process from destruction.
maybe there's a specific time. There's a specific moment when Gallifrey has to come back.
They saw that he didn't want to be part of the Time War. They're like, no, you got to get in.
Now, taking a little bit of Joe's theory here, if the Sisterhood sees that the Doctor is trying to bring back Gallifrey, what is it, too soon? And they're not ready yet. It's not the opportune moment to bring it back. They could knock him off course.
I think that they felt, okay, he brought back Gallifrey. You know what? The only thing else we could do, we already altered events where he wasn't supposed to drink the potion. Now he did, and it was a different regeneration. So why don't we just prevent the Daleks from being born? And I think that's what That's basically what I think that they altered the TARDIS, and it's going to be found out in the finale that those women did that, and he's going to have to fix that.
Yeah, because trying to prevent the Daleks from happening is going to have absolutely no bad side effects at all.
Well,
What can possibly go wrong?
yeah.
Well, now that you said
The
it,
fact that he saved still an evil bastard, and he's worse at 100%, and he doesn't even need the damn Daleks. That's what's worse.
I'm just convinced that the Sisterhood want to help. They find out that Gallifrey's safe, and then they commit themselves to helping the 12th Doctor.
But they can predict the future, though, as well, right?
Yeah. I think so.
I think their intentions are good, but they screw up. Honestly think they're behind Davros.
Isn't that what everything in Doctor Who is? You have good intentions, and you end up screwing it up.
Right.
You just described all the wrongs in history.
Well, to be honest, they could want the Doctor to bring Gallifrey back for their own agenda, their own purpose. So even if they are siding with Davros, what's stopping them from helping the Doctor just to get it back, so then they can use it for their own purpose?
Could Davros... Now, we know that Missy was giving the Cybermen as a present to the Doctor, an army. If Davros is brought back, and he is more dangerous than ever, do you think this could also force an alliance with the Doctor and Missy?
Of course it is.
Like, they're actually going to work together.
That's exactly why they get together, probably.
May I say something real quick? If we've already established that the Soothsayers and Fires of Pompeii are the Sisterhood of Karn, what's their intention, or what's their ultimate goal in Pompeii? What are they doing there?
The main... I think, could they be observing... Now, if Joe's theory about Capaldi's character in Fires of Pompeii being the Doctor is correct, could they be observing the Doctor?
Or could they be the cause of the reason why Pompeii, the volcano, goes off? For some reason. Like they're there for a reason. There's a goal why they're there. We're going to find out.
I think, once again, I think they're there to, like, push the timeline forward, where the end result is that Gallifrey is safe and found. You know, like, because is it just a coincidence that a face of a future Doctor that is likely to be the one that finds Gallifrey is in Pompeii as well at the same time? It just seems like a massive coincidence. It's like they're there to kind of, like, continue to write the story of how the Doctor gets from the point in Pompeii to where he's...
See, but the thing is, though, right? They weren't good in the beginning, like in Brain of Morbius. They were like, you know what I'm saying? It's like he helped them with the flame, and then they're like, oh man, that's great, you know? But I think that they're all screwed up. Like, they think that this is a way to do it, but it's not.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they could just be wanting the Doctor to get Gallifrey back for their own purpose.
Right.
They have to like the Doctor, but they just have to kind of convince him enough to, enlist his help in getting Gallifrey back.
See, the one thing we know is the time lock was broken, or was opened just enough time for Dalek Khan to get in there, get Davros, and get out. Okay? So maybe the Sisterhood unlocks the Time War and gets to, like, maybe they somehow place Gallifrey on Pompeii. Or something. I don't know. I just hope, okay, talking about Clara's ending, okay? I really hope they don't do something stupid, like some guy dying, and then the Doctor gets super upset, and Clara's like, what happened? What's the matter? He's like, that guy, he's dead. And she's like, well, okay, you know, it's all right. And she's like, no, he planted the tree, and now you're not going to be born. Something stupid like that, you know. Like where she's erased or something. I don't know. I think that the Davros thing I think that Clara's mistake is that she's going to try to fix the timeline and cause the explosion that happened to him in the first place, but it's going to be another alternate timeline.
I think, yes, several things are for certain now. I think there's an alternative timeline because time is broken in a way.
Let's see here. Wait, hold on. We're going to have, I think this is what we're going to have. We're going to have, this is the timeline, okay, that's supposed to happen. Like, we're going a straight line, right? I'm like trying to do this, I'm booting it. And then where am I? Okay, backwards. When the Doctor saves Davros, that's going to be a whole new timeline. When Clara tries to restore it, it's not going to be the same timeline, so it's going to be this one. And there are going to be many different branches that are going to have like different Capaldis and Claras and everything else. And then somebody's going to have to put it together where it's just one.
Well, yeah, it's no coincidence that in episode 11 they're also playing the Impossible Girl card, where there's several versions of one person with the 12th Doctor. There's a link there. There's something's happened that causes that.
It's an interesting quote from Day of the Doctor. Great men are forged in fire. It's the privilege of lesser men to light the flame.
Yeah.
Fires of Pompeii. Great men, good men.
Yeah, good man as well. It's all one big.
And who would the lesser man be? One could make the argument the lesser man could be Cocalius, right?
Yeah.
The lesser man could be Missy because she's not a man.
because ultimately, at the end of the day, Cocalius will be the guy that's changed history because the Doctor never died in Pompeii. So him being saved and him being there would be irrelevant in the context of changing time and history. It would be.
But how much? Let me ask you a question, Connie. You keep mentioning the guy from Torchwood, right?
Yeah.
How much did he really alter history, though?
Frobisher?
Yeah.
Well, he would have ended the family line that was.
No, but my point is his place in the place of other things in the timeline really didn't do an impact that could say that dramatically altered the timeline. I mean, he's just there.
I'm going to go back and watch Children of Earth.
I don't think. I'm going to tell you this. I honestly don't think that the Children of Earth, Torchwood, they're not going to have anything to do with that.
I mean,
I think they're going to keep Torchwood separate for now, and that's not even a factor of Capaldi's space. Well, I think that's just going to be a free one-off thing, and that's it. He's not even going to be related to
that. Could be the case, but we have nothing at the moment to discount.
Correct.
That in our series, so that I'm just putting it out there. I mean, I don't know. That might be the case. I think that very well actually will be the case. Where
because I wouldn't want Miracle Day to actually be real. So, let's just ourselves away from Torchwood, please.
But even like with Fires of Pompeii, like I said, Cocalius will be the one that changes history. It won't be the Doctor because obviously the Doctor never originally died in Pompeii. It would have been.
I honestly don't think that history's changed because they live.
Well,
I think that my point is this. I think that the fixed point was that Pompeii had to be destroyed, not that he saved them.
Well, the whole point of a fixed point in time is everything has to be as it happened.
No.
If everyone died.
No, that's not the fixed point with Pompeii was that it had to be destroyed. Not this one lives or this one lives.
But
the difference is with waters and Mars.
When would he? Why was he so?
Actually, I got something I just read that it was kind of an interesting thing about this whole thing is that Joe mentioned something about that being the Doctor possibly, Cocalius, and we do have an instance of in like Family of Blood that the Doctor hid himself out with amnesia, where he purposefully didn't remember who he was.
Chameleon
So
Arch.
we have an instance of that occurring. So he could be possibly the Doctor, and he might not even know it.
Chameleon
Yeah.
Arch. And in
Yeah.
fact, all those people could be humans, but with a chameleon arch, where they don't know who they are either. Like the TARDIS could do that to all of them.
I never thought about that actually.
Yeah.
Because that explains the reaching out to Tennant to Caecilius.
Yeah.
When he's looking at the TARDIS, he's got this. It's almost like the TARDIS. Like
The TARDIS is his stopwatch,
it's
basically.
in the back of his head that he recognizes that it's very emblematic for him, and
He bought it.
yeah, he knows that somehow it's tied to who he is.
Yeah.
Because with the fixed point in time, going back to that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you. Let me explain.
What?
Let me explain. The fixed point in time with Waters and Mars, right? Waters and Mars, the Dalek did not shoot a young Adelaide Brooks because she had to die on Mars. Now, that's not the only reason. The only reason is because if you killed her as a child, it could technically alter the Dalek's beginnings because something happens due to her offspring that is connected with the Daleks directly, that they did not want to shoot her. Okay? Something. I don't know if it's the creation of the Time Lords or something, but they would not alter. They always want to alter the timeline, but not there.
Joe's got the pen out now, like Sean Hannity.
Yeah.
Because if a fixed point in time was just where Pompeii had to be destroyed,
Right.
then the Doctor would have saved everyone, but he didn't.
Well,
I just don't agree with what you're saying about what a fixed point in time is. I think like it's where it has to be as it was. Everyone has to die for the fixed point to maintain and not to.
well, fixed points doesn't necessarily mean death. Okay.
Well, I know, but I mean in this instance it does because everyone on Pompeii died.
Well, we think anyway. Who knows if they do something else where they're all like stone or something. What was the reasoning behind making them stone before the thing blew up? So they could save the people? Because if it's lava, you can't destroy stone with lava, right?
Well,
Maybe that was the plan, to save everybody by making them stone.
when did they do that?
They said that in the episode that they were all basically becoming stone because they were all becoming like soothsayers.
Well, that's them. That's the soothsayers.
Well, the guy was.
That's
becoming
not
stone.
everyone in
The
Pompeii.
daughter was coming stone. Right, not everyone, but.
Like, if we're talking about everyone in Pompeii, I just think that
I really feel that the fact that he saved that guy and the family has no impact on the timeline whatsoever, because if it did, we would have seen something.
Because everyone in Pompeii, it was specifically said even by the Doctor himself that no one survived. Everyone had to die. If you save Caecilius, he's then there's going to be a timeline there where he creates a family, and you know that whole
a whole line that doesn't. But see, that's the thing. I believe that's a Doctor. So I believe that that's not going to be altered because that's the Doctor. Maybe those are connected with the Doctor, companions or something. And when the Chameleon Arch is done, they're going to go about their own business. I honestly think that's all a setup.
That could be the case, but because we don't know that for a fact, we have to
I know.
alternatives.
Right, absolutely, you're right. I really think, because here's the thing, while all these fans are going to remember that, these new fans, are they going to do that and They may revisit Pompeii, but they're not going to tie that as how the timeline went wrong. They're going to tie it to Davros. They're not going to tie it to Pompeii. Just like they're not going to mention Waters of Mars, that she was supposed to die on Mars.
Well, I don't understand why we suddenly have to base what happens in the show on what fans remember. That makes no sense to me, because if the fans, they wouldn't have done what they did in the 50th with the opening, Coal Hill School, etc. If they didn't believe that fans would know what it.
Well, yeah, that's tied in with Doctor Who. I know.
I mean, it's only 8 years ago that happened. 7 or 8 years ago. It's I think that it's actually really not that long ago. I think there's going to be a heavy tie-in with what happened in Pompeii being the start of the timeline being destroyed, because then there's.
You want to know why I don't believe that's possible?
Why?
Because if the timeline was starting to get altered, then you wouldn't have a million Capaldis. You would have a million David Tennants. And it has nothing to do with David Tennant as a Doctor's reign. It has to do with something that's altered while he's Peter Capaldi that creates his branches of timelines with Peter Capaldi's multiple Doctors.
I agree, but what's discounting the start of the...
The only reason Pompeii's a factor in it is because Gallifrey is connected with Pompeii, their location.
If you think on a grand scale, forget the specific replications of Capaldi in episode 11. The start, the very first in the new series, the very first event that the Doctor majorly changed that could impact history going forward is Pompeii. It's just, to me, it's a coincidence that then we have Peter Capaldi playing a character who would then later become the Doctor, because he would then become the 12th Doctor. I just think that there's a heavy link to that being the start of time being distorted, dysfunctional, broken, etc., etc. Because then, for many years, there's been this, since even Day of the Doctor as well, changing events in time, such as Gallifrey. That's been a massive focal point for the series for quite a large.
I'm actually reading something here where Moffat actually is very strongly hinting that Capaldi's role as Caecilius not only is going to be playing a part, but John Frobisher and Torchwood as well.
Really? They are going to do that?
So, yeah, I was right.
Oh, okay. What if we're off base? What if we're totally off base, right? And Gallifrey is in the Nethersphere.
Can I read something real quick before we move on? This kind of gets into kind of summarize where we're at with things. This particular thing I'm reading. These are all the facts, and then I'm going to get to the theory because they're pretty concise with what we've been discussing. Capaldi played a man named Lucius Caecilius in Fires of Pompeii before taking over for Matt Smith as the Doctor. Caecilius had a fascination with the TARDIS, purchased it in an attempt to show off the high priest of the cult of Vulcan, claiming it was modern art. Caecilius and his family do not die in Pompeii. The 10th Doctor once forced his own memories out of himself to elude the family of blood via the Chameleon Arch. He went by the name John Smith, kept his companion Martha close to prevent him from becoming lost forever in his alternate life, and also to protect him from eating pears. The theory is Caecilius is actually the Doctor. At some point, he needs to hide himself again and uses the Chameleon Arch to disguise himself and his mind as a Roman citizen named Lucius Caecilius, a humble marble trader. Since he has no companion at the time to prevent him from becoming lost in his new life, he remains in this life, even taking a wife and starting a family, as John Smith most certainly would have done had Martha not been around or the family blood intervened. Since Capaldi's Doctor is the next Doctor, this would, of course, that 10 would not recognize his future incarnation, since 12 has wiped his memory, would not remember his previous self, but was still hopelessly drawn to the TARDIS, as he always is, as implied in the episode The Doctor's Wife. It's also not surprising that the Doctor's daughter would be chosen to become soothsayer, since as half Time Lord, she would be more adept to predictions since Time Lords can travel through time.
Correct.
Yeah, well, exactly. I think actually the chameleon arts, this Bob Watch thing could be the case with Kekelius and the because it does make sense that like with the 10th Doctor as John Smith and Family of Blood and Human Nature that he had Martha there to help him get out of that whenever he needed to defeat the Family of Blood. But obviously Kekelius doesn't have that. So
well, we saw that prop also that looked like a Gallifreyan relic of some sort.
Yeah.
That they showed us. So it's like that's interesting because it almost looks like it's Gallifreyan, but it looks like it also could come from that particular region and time period around Pompeii. The way that the way it's built, the way it looks, its design.
Are we all under the same idea that the Master went back with the Time Lords and the End of Time?
I'm kind of on the fence about that one.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. Obviously, Missy has the upper hand with Gallifrey and the Doctor.
Well, yeah, she knows where Gallifrey is.
Or maybe she's imprisoning Gallifrey in the Nethersphere in Pompeii. And maybe she chose his face. Maybe she gave him the regenerations.
I don't think she had that power.
Well, first of all, who had the key to the Matrix? The Valier, right? He was once you're in charge of the Matrix, you're in charge of everything, right? So she has all Time Lord technology. She has TARDISes or TARDIS. She did the thing with the Cybermen coming out. She's controlling the Cybermen. She's controlling the Nethersphere. I think that she is. What's the word? She does have that power, yeah.
Do I think Missy will play a major part in what's to come? Yes. But I think in terms of Time Lord Society, they hold the Doctor in higher regard.
Right, but I think that she imprisoned the Time Lords. He saved them, but she imprisoned them.
Well, I can't speculate about Missy.
I think it's a game to her. I think. And now with the Davros and the Daleks, then she has to let the Time Lords. She has to help him get Gallifrey back because she's petrified of the Daleks and Davros.
Yeah. Just going back to what Mike was saying about that prop. I can't remember like Pfizer Pompeii exactly. Which prop are you on about?
The prop that they showed for this series, Series 9.
Oh, the one that has like several segments.
Yes, I would need to take a look at it again. It's been like a couple of months ago I saw it.
Yeah,
but yeah, my advice would be not only to myself but all of us with theorizing is that it's not going to be too far out there as far as what their explanation is. It's not. They're not going to incorporate stuff that's going to confuse your average viewer of Doctor Who. They're not going to like, nerd out on it and get to like all this crazy sort of stuff going on.
Right.
Because I mean, look, they already like went out of bounds with stuff with Matt Smith and never bothered to even wrap up those loose ends. So I mean, they're not going to do things
right
that are going to be like try to explain stuff. If anything, they would just leave loose ends.
All right, guys. I hate to cut it short, but gotta go to bed. So
You're here.
Shit. Take care. Bye for now.